I'm getting too big and I should stop, is what my wife told me this morning. I am not doing any boasting whatsoever. In fact, it's the opposite. I have body dysmorphia because I'm a bodybuilder. So I am forever small in my own brain. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the weeks 3 and 4, the final weeks of the phase 1 of the Mass Impact program from GVS. I'll talk a little bit about the rep ranges and my own cues, my mental cues for performing a lift, as well as some tips along the way if I have one. Okay, let's begin. Would you look at this? My son Caden's doing, I believe, pullovers this time. Fellas, tell me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the best things that's happened to me since I opened or I made a home gym. It's just the joy of seeing my kids do the exercises and like being a role model for them. It's super cool. Oh, wait, actually, this is Caden. So the first one was Haku. I don't know why I was confused. He's doing like a bicep curl. Of course, this is supervised all the time, and I'm not letting them really lift everything. All right. So to this exercise, I believe this is an AD barbell press. First of all, this is not in the program. You can swap exercises. That's why I love boostcamp. Boostcamp app is the one I'm using primarily for my training. This is a really good exercise. It lets you hit the upper pecs, the front delts. You could really overload it because it's very stable, as you can see there, and it's quite safe as well because you have the spotter arms in front of you. Next, this is JM press, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly. You know what? There's so many people that have different opinions, different cues for the JM press that it's just gonna be so confusing. So for me, I'm experimenting still and practicing the movement every time. I'm getting better. That's my mindset for doing this. But basically, it's the hybrid of a skull crusher and a close grip bench press. And as long as that is what you are thinking of when you're doing this movement, I believe you will be in the right direction. Keep in mind that you should lead with the elbows when you start the movement, and try to you don't need to touch the chin or the neck every time. It depends on your mobility. Followed by one of my favorite exercises for the chest, actually, for the home gym setup. It is the dumbbell flies. I've been doing this since I was 16 years old, but probably not as effective as I'm doing it now. I was just horsing around the weight, not really caring about the form and the stretch before. I should have really listened to the people who said really slow down and emphasize the stretch. That was like 20 years ago. And lo and behold, the science is catching up. They say exactly the same thing. So just keep in mind when you're doing this movement, start slow and sink really deep. All right. So leg day is pretty simple. It's just 1 day a week because mass impact is focused on getting you the V taper that you want. So you will look physically like a superhero. So once a week is enough. Just a typical barbell squat. So you'll learn the movement. And overall, I think barbell squats is the king when it comes to like lower days. And the reverse lunge is my swap exercise because I can't really do a walking lunge as prescribed by GVS on his program. Probably the same muscles that's being hit, so don't worry too much about it. We have the chest supported row, also one of my favorites. Actually, the reason why I joined or apply, what am I saying? Applied, joined. The reason why I started this program is because when I checked the exercises, it's fairly similar to what I wanted to do anyway. So I'm just trying it out, but I can definitely program my own exercises using the boostcamp app. So yeah, pretty cool. Try this out. And I look really weird here, so my apologies if you do not want to see me struggling, my face struggling with neck curls. I just started neck curls just last month, so it's still, I don't know, really, really bad when it comes to form. So apologies. Then followed with the crunches with an ab mat. I like doing it this way because it gives me a better stretch at the bottom and I can feel it really contract at the top. You don't really need to load with the plates because this program just wants you to do 5 minutes of neck work, extensions and curls included, and 5 minutes of ab work. It doesn't matter if it's hanging knee raises or ab crunches or plate loaded crunches, it's up to you. All right, moving on to the pull-ups. You can see here I'm using a neutral grip. There's two variations of the pull-ups in this program. One would be the overhand, more of a traditional style, and you can see this style is the neutral grip. I personally like the neutral grip better. It hits the lats more, but the overhand is also important, of course. I think the way it progresses is really good. This has been a really solid progression for me, especially because I'm lean bulking. So I don't need to pay attention much to the added weight. The technique here is to just add your total body weight when you weigh yourself in the morning and log that as well, because you are essentially lifting that weight against gravity, right? So when you do the pull ups, make sure you log your body weight as well and you progress. I believe the rep range is from 6 to 8, and then it goes down lower from weeks 5 to 8, and then weeks 9 to 12. So let's talk about that real quick. That's one thing that I found in this program that is enjoyable. It's kind of um, putting a lot of varieties in one single program, and that way you don't really get bored. What I mean is, if you always do a set of 10 to 12 with every single exercise for 12 weeks, you will definitely get bored. And, maybe some of you can stick to it, but a lot of you will feel like you want to try another exercise or you want to just skip this 10 to 12 again because it feels really, really tiring. But then when you see a rep range that says 6 to 8, that's more enjoyable because of course it's less time in that really hard, the tension on the muscle. You don't have to spend as much time in that state, and as well as you can lift more weights. So keep in mind, when the rep range gets lower, that also means that you have to match it with increasing the weight. That's how you overload or increase intensity of your exercise. Now for me personally, I enjoy that kind of rep range because I know that I'm also building some strength. And, let's be honest, almost everybody wants to see their strength progress. Who doesn't want to be strong? So that's why we lift weights, right? So most of us want to see the numbers go up. So yeah, that's that. Oh, one of my favorite exercises in this program, the incline dumbbell bench press. So this one, I'm really trying to focus on progressing slowly because I don't have a lot of dumbbells here. I only have a pair of adjustable dumbbells, which means if I do super, super fast, I mean, if I progress really fast, I won't have enough dumbbells to, you know, keep working out. And I might have to use the barbells and the plates, but I enjoy the dumbbells. So going really slow with progressing, meaning I look at my rep quality. I make sure I perfect the form before I even increase the weight or the reps for that matter. Also, kind of same with the seated shoulder press. This is one of my favorite exercises. It's very useful. It translates to real life. You could carry your luggage on a plane. You could lift your kid. You could carry a lot of luggage or groceries. It's overall is great for somebody trying to build muscle and overall trying to build strength as well. Same progression. I think for this week, again, this is the final week. So for the next week, we will lower the rep range and increase the weight. So now I'm just trying to perfect, making sure I pause at the bottom and get that deep stretch and make sure I've done everything I can to squeeze out every single thing on this weight. All right, JM press again. You can see there's a lot of JM presses because I substituted skull crushers with JM press. I wanted to perfect this movement because it's quite new for me. And that's my advice to you guys. If you don't know how to do a movement and you feel some joints cracking or not pain, but just a little bit funky when you do the movement, don't give up on it yet. Give a chance and stick with it at least for a few weeks. I would say like 4 to 6 weeks. Keep improving, watch videos about it because sometimes your muscles are just not used to it. It doesn't mean it's a bad exercise. Keep perfecting the form, and if it really doesn't work, I mean, you cannot see any strength progression, or if you look at yourself in the mirror, nothing's really happening, then you can switch. But a lot of people just try to switch, jump between exercises week to week, and variety is good, but not in this case. You want to keep yourself from switching different exercises and not improving on one, right? Like a master, like a good analogy for this is, I think Bruce Lee said you could, somebody practices 100 kicks one time, or somebody practices one kick 100 times. So try to perfect something first before you move on. Next, we have the lateral raise. Oh, one of the classics as well. There's a study now that went back to the dumbbell lateral raise. For a while, they're hating on this movement because of the strength curve, because at the bottom there's quite little to no tension, and so because of that, people tend to advise that you should do cables or machines instead. But now, because of the study, I don't have the study now in my hand, or I don't have the citation, but of course this is not a science channel, so if you want the full explanation, you could just search that in YouTube. Plenty of content creators out there. But basically, the simplified result was it's almost no difference when it comes to muscle building. So don't worry about your dumbbell lateral raises. Okay, more neck work. Honestly, I'm enjoying the neck work because it I can feel sometimes when I wake up in the morning, you feel that neck strain, and I don't know what causes that for sure, but maybe it posture. But ever since starting the neck work, I definitely felt that my neck's getting stronger. And of course, the athletes that fights, like UFC athletes, boxers, they train their neck to strengthen overall, you know, their when they get hit or something like that. But yeah, I think it translates well into real life as well. Also, if you do not know how to progress through a movement, of course, I went over it a little bit here in this video when I talked about how I want to increase my bench press, my incline dumbbell bench press. But if you're not sure, I probably will post soon, maybe tomorrow or the next week, a video about progression. So how to progressively overload. To simplify that term, it just means that you keep challenging your muscles, you keep giving your muscles reason to grow. Basically, if our body is under stress or tension, our muscles trying to keep up and getting stronger and getting bigger. Once that's done, every time you train the same weight, you don't really expect new results or your muscles won't get better. So we have to think of ways to keep challenging the muscle. Yeah, so that being said, please stay tuned for that video. It's coming soon. So, a recent progression that I've been enjoying with pull ups is I've been listing my body weight every morning when I weigh in as a total weight load for the movement. So, instead of just doing reps when I log it on my app boostcamp, I also put my body weight, and if ever I add weight plates to that, depending on if I hit the rep range, the top of the range already. So you should try that out as well and see how it works for you. Anyway, I don't want to repeat the things that I mentioned earlier about the cues. So I'll try my best. If I see a similar type of movement, I'll do a different type of tip. But yeah, anyway, if you guys haven't seen the pullover video that I posted a while ago, I highly, highly recommend you watch that. It's like a secret weapon for beginners to low intermediates to transition into high intermediates and even advanced. There's so many ways you could do this movement, and it's just overall fun. Once you get the hang of it, it feels great. You just gotta try it. Trust me. So rep range maybe six to 10. I like to do 8 to 12 just to be sure I'm on that sweet spot rep range. But you can go heavy, just not as heavy as below 6 reps. Okay, what do we have here? Recently, I've been experimenting with different forms of rear delt work. This one's just a little bit of a cheat. Combined side lateral raise with rear delt fly. And don't be too strict on yourself when you do this movement. It's a really small muscle. So if you need to go heavy, go heavy. If you need that oomph, that unga bunga, cheat a little bit. Hey, by all means. Okay. Oh, we got the incline curl again. Did I show this already? But anyway, a couple of things I also think about when I do incline curls. If you're on a rep range that, let's say, it it requires you to do a set of 6 to 8 on the first set and 8 to 10 on the next few sets, I urge you to use a little bit of aggression on the second and third set, because sometimes that might help you get the weight up without as much cheating. As you can see there, I didn't cheat that much. So that's that. Nothing special here, just band face pulls, getting ready for a push day or a chest day. I find that if I do this one first, it does help me brace more and warms up my shoulders better. So you can see we're doing the close grip bench press, and Caden's playing with his dinosaur there, banging it on the wall. I have no idea what his plan is. Anyway, this movement is really great, especially if you have problems with dips. I highly recommend that you swap it out for close grip bench press. No, it's not close grip that is the same as the skull crusher's grip, meaning it's almost your hands are almost pushed together. A bit of shoulder width to a little bit outside shoulder width is still fine. That's still considered close grip. Followed by the AD press or any vertical barbell press. It's just terms. At this point, we're just playing around with the words. But basically, brace yourself with a bench, adjustable bench, get a barbell, and just push it upward. It's a vertical press. Great for muscle building, great for manhood strength, translates well to everyday life. Okay, good job, Kaden, for doing some rows. I love it when my kids see that and they try to copy. Okay, wow. I'm not sure if I got this form correct, but I'm still trying it out. Fairly new. This is the Lou raises, I believe. And there's a variation that Mike Israel does where he doesn't really turn his thumb up. He just maintains the palms down position of his hands, and he tries to just raise it as high as he can for a full range of motion. So that's like a full ROM lateral raises. This is quite new, so I don't know like how well it will develop your shoulders, but some people that do it have really jacked shoulders, so that's one way of evidence, I guess. All right, closing it up with the overhead single dumbbell tricep extensions. Honestly, if you have problems doing this movement, you could either swap it out for JM press or a normal skull crushers just lying on the bench. This absolutely destroys your triceps. The long head of your triceps gets an absolute stretch, and sometimes too much, because it puts a strain on the shoulders and the elbows. That is why I use an elbow sleeve. Not because I want to lift heavier, it's just to keep my joints healthy. I'm great. I'm getting older, so gotta be careful. What else do we have here? Some good old fashioned squats. So squats are the main exercise for this program, and I do not disagree. I love it. I've been squatting since maybe I started lifting, although it's not the correct form, it's not the correct program, but it's always been there. It's never forgotten, and it just keeps getting better and better. Honestly, this year I'm trying to get my squats to near absolute perfect form, and that is taking a while, of course. And who knows what's absolutely perfect anyway. So when I mean perfect form, that means for myself, that builds my muscle, gives me progress. And hey, every joint, every body, we're all different. And look at that, Haku saw me and he's trying to copy. Isn't that cute? Go. So rep range, I like to play around with a low rep range, for example 3 to 6 reps for a top set. If you don't know what a top set is, it's just the maximal load that you're planning to lift on that day, and then back off the sets, which means 20% to 30% load lighter on the set 2, set 3, set 4, and that'll be a higher moderate rep range like 8 to 12, or like 6 to 10. That's where you get the other metabolic stress and the tension that will help your muscles grow. Oh, barbell rows again. My favorite. Honestly, if there's somebody that has a big thick back, a wide thick back, chances are they are doing barbell rows or some sort of rows, because you can't just eliminate this exercise and just do whatever machine is at your gym and hope that you're going to have as strong of an erectors and as strong of a back. I don't think so, personally. By the way, when you do incline presses, do you also meet your chest up together? I mean, meet the chest with the dumbbell as soon as the dumbbell is getting lower. So you can notice, especially when I'm getting more fatigued, I'm trying my best to even make it slower. I know that's the opposite, but that's the challenge for people. When you reach failure or close to failure, that's the time that you get slower. I also do that in the JM press here, as you can see. The more fatigued I'm getting, the slower I'm doing the negative, or the motion that's going down. For those of you who don't know which one's the negative part, but yeah, it's just an extra challenge, and it's one way to keep yourself accountable and be honest with yourself. You know, that's been it. This is the last movement for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you stayed until here, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.